Nell.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rough Green's Healthy Pet Show. Here we give you, the pet owner, the best up-to-date information to keep your dogs and cats healthy and well. So, as a human, if you've ever had a kidney stone, we were just talking about that, or a gallstone, you know how painful it can be. Well, the same can be said about bladder stones. I did not know that. Painful but beatable. So, Doc, share with us what every pet owner should know to keep their furry friends healthy, especially when dealing with a bladder stone.
Yeah, bladder stones are not fun for dogs and cats. So let's talk about what bladder stones are, first of all. Much like kidney stones and gallstones, they're solid formations of minerals, usually lots of calcium, and other substances that accumulate and bond together in the bladder. Often they're caused by factors such as dietary imbalances, urinary tract infections, or genetic predispositions. Breeds like Dalmatians, Bulldogs, and miniature Schnauzers are particularly at risk here.
Wow.
Cats, especially older male cats, those with a history of urinary tract issues, are also susceptible.
So here's the big question. How on earth would I know if my cat or dog had a stone in their bladder?
Well, so there are symptoms that I'll go over in just a minute, but I don't want to move past this point till I at least mention our cat Jack. Jack was our favorite cat. We have another cat, but Jack was the favorite child. And Jack passed away last year with urinary tract blockage.
Oh, wow.
And so he was an older cat, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do. It's what happens. So recognizing the signs of bladder stones and urinary tract issues can prevent some serious complications. So symptoms include frequent attempts to urinate, often with very little success, blood in the urine if they have that, and if you collect their urine in a litter box, you'll see that sometimes. Dogs, not so much. Straining or painful during urination, so you watch and see how many times they're trying to urinate and are they actually being successful. This is relatively easy with your dog if you have them in an enclosure. You can just watch them and see. Cloudy or foul-smelling urine is also something that you can check if you. It's kind of hard to collect urine from a dog or from a cat. They can do it at your vet. Your vet can do that. Behavioral changes such as lethargy and irritability, vomiting or loss of appetite. Our cat climbed underneath a bush that he never climbs under and just laid there and it wouldn't come out, which is unusual because whenever he sees you, he comes running. And so we knew something was wrong. So we picked him up, took him to the vet, and that's when we found out that he had that problem. So diets that are high in magnesium, calcium, or phosphorus can promote stone formation. So you want to make sure that you don't feed them too much of those things.
Is dead food balanced?
No, it's not. That's the problem. And that's the problem with cat food and dog food. Sometimes they'll just throw in tons of calcium or phosphorus or magnesium.
Right.
And a certain amount of calcium and magnesium are good for them. But honestly, you can give them most of what they need if you just give them Rough Greens, Canine VitaSmart, or Meow Greens, Kitty Kitty VitaSmart. You can get both of these at ruffgreens.com for your dog or for your cat. And if you're not sure, you can do a Jumpstart trial bag for either or both of them. You just cover the shipping, and we'll let you try it before you buy it.
And for those of you who haven't tried it yet, you can sprinkle it on top of your dead food.
Yeah, put it on, or your homemade food.
Or your homemade food.
Whatever you feed your dog.
Right.
So additionally, insufficient water intake can also concentrate urine. And so you want to kind of look at their urine if you can. By the way, just as a side note for humans, how to tell if you're dehydrated is look at your own urine. If your urine is dark in color or has any color at all, it means you're not hydrated enough.
Ooh.
Your urine should come out. It should be either clear like water or a very, very, very light yellow. Anything other than that means you're probably dehydrated yourself.
That's good to know, because I thought a lot of that had to do with the crazy vitamins we take.
Well, it does, depending upon the vitamins that you take.
Right.
Vitamins can make that really expensive yellow urine, but it doesn't last all day.
Right.
So if your urine is like that all day long, it means you're dehydrated. Hypoglycemia or liver disease can also increase the likelihood of certain kinds of stones. So
in your pet?
Yes, yeah. Wow. So bladder stones are typically diagnosed through a combination of physical exams, urinalysis, x-rays, and ultrasounds. Once identified, treatment options include specific diets, adding things like meow greens and rough greens to your pet's diet will certainly help to dissolve those kinds of stones. Antibiotics or medications to modify urine pH can be prescribed by your veterinarian. In severe cases, surgery may be necessary, but in some cases, surgery can be extremely expensive and the likelihood of success may be relatively small. Less than 50%.
You probably don't see this from your perspective, but as a user of these products, I, in the beginning, thought, I don't really want to spend money on vitamins for my animals. But guess what? I have not been to the vet all year.
Yeah.
And normally, I had to take them to the vet for random things.
Right. So you're going to either spend money on feeding the dog good, healthy, nutritional supplements that are going to prolong their life.
Correct.
Or you're going to spend money at the vet.
Right.
Your choice. But this one can make your pet live longer. The longest living dog that we ever had on Rough Greens was a Labrador that was 22 years old.
Wow.
And dogs just don't live to be 22,
no.
especially big dogs.
No.
But he lived to be 22. We have someone that is a spokesperson for us who has a German Shepherd. His German Shepherd will be 14 this year.
Wow.
Right? Started on Rough Greens when he was, I think, 5. Right? So he's been on Rough Greens for a long time and very healthy, still going strong at 14. So that'll be great.
That's awesome.
At any rate, to ensure your pet has fresh water at all times, you feed them a balanced diet tailored to their specific needs, avoid excessive minerals in their product, routine checkups with the vet, urinary testing, can catch potential issues early, address urinary tract infections promptly to reduce the risk of stone formation. But I can't stress enough how important it is to add meow greens or rough greens to your dog or cat's food. I mean, it's the single best thing that you can do. Your dog loves you. Love them back by giving them rough greens. You can get a free Jumpstart trial bag. Use promo code XM, KSky, and just cover the shipping, and they'll send you a Jumpstart trial bag to your door, and you can try it before you buy it, and you'll see. The longer you keep your dog on rough greens and your cat on meow greens, the healthier they will become. It's just that simple.
And it's the easy way to make them healthy.
That's right.
So when we come back, if you are a dog owner and you got to hang out with us, Dr. Black is going to be addressing an issue that most dog owners face at one time or another.
Yeah.
And we're not going to tell you what that is, so you have to stay tuned.
We'll tell you back in 1 minute and 1 second.
Back to Rough Greens Healthy Pets, sponsored in part by Texas Superfood, the original superfood, as well as Rough Greens for our dogs and Meow Greens for our cats. You don't have to change your dog or cat's food, just sprinkle on a scoop of either Rough Greens or Meow Greens.
You know, one of the most frustrating things that pet parents find is when there's puddles on the floor from their dog, or Fido, so they say. So whether you step in that puddle when you got your socks on and you get your socks all wet, or it's in the middle of the night, or you come home from work, or you're just going from one room in the house to another, what is it that's going on with dogs that pee in the house?
Well,
Doctor?
it could be several things, right? But it's a fact of life that your pup will pee in the house at some point.
That is a fact?
It's a fact.
Oh.
Okay. Now, we will have somebody who's a viewer or a listener today who will say, well, my dog has never. Okay, well, do you remember back when they were a puppy? Maybe they did then. So even the best trained dog can have an accident from time to time, and hopefully it's not on purpose. But so here's the thing. Are they fully potty trained? Young puppies don't have full control of their bladder. They don't know how to communicate their urges to urinate, and they have no clue where they aren't allowed to go if they're inside the house, right? So some really helpful tips are as soon as you take your dog, if you have them inside the house in a cage trained, as soon as you take them out of the cage, you take them outside.
Immediately.
And then you always want to praise them out there and give them a treat out there. And by the way, rough chews or tidbits are great treats to give them. You can find them on roughgreens.com. But giving them a treat after they pee or poop outside is a phenomenal way to begin to train them.
That's awesome.
But it's common for puppies to pee when they feel like they're overjoyed, they're excited,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Or they're nervous, right? If you are a really very strong personality and you have puppies, you're so much bigger than them, you dominate them. When they come in, sometimes you just loom over them and they pee just out of fear or excitement, right? So it usually happens when they first see you or during playtime. You can help curb exciting peeing by just keeping the greetings very low key. So you don't get excited, they don't get excited. And I know that when our dogs were younger, we had that issue. Now that I think our youngest dog is 2, she doesn't do that anymore.
So do dogs and cats mark territory in the house? They do?
Yeah, they do, because they occasionally, especially if you have other dogs that come in your home, right? So a male dog will often lift his leg and give a little pee squirt. He's just marking the territory. And we have a male dog who's been neutered, right? But he still does that every once in a while, not often. But if we've had another dog in the house, and then when he comes back in, he's marking the chair.
Like it's mine.
Yeah, he's marking the chair, he's marking this. So urine marking is different than having an accident in the house. And when marking, dogs will squeeze out a small amount of urine just to put their scent in various objects. It's your dog's way of saying, I've been here and this is my place. So while marking is often thought of as a male dog trait, female dogs do it too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And so it's real important. So the next question becomes...
Are those called alpha females?
No, I think it's all females.
All females.
But the next question becomes how to stop dogs from marking their territory. Since the largest percentage of urine markers are intact males and intact females, many experts recommend neutering or spaying to reduce the hormonal urges.
That makes sense.
So talk to your vet about that and see if that's what's going on with your dog. The other thing, though, is that your pet could be experiencing various medical conditions, such as urinary tract infections, bladder stones, kidney stones, prostate disorders, diabetes, etc. All of those things could be causing your dog's urgency to go. And by the way, your cat too. So dogs may not deal with the same stressors that humans do in the same way, but it doesn't mean that they don't feel anxious at times.
Especially when I'm anxious.
Yes.
It seems like
they can sense it very, very quickly. So the important thing is, if you have changes in your dog's schedule, dogs thrive on consistency. Daily schedules only work if you stick to them. If your well-trained pooch suddenly starts urinating in the house, it may be because he's off his schedule and he just can't hold it any longer.
So that makes sense that it's something that is a change in their behavior, right?
Right.
That's how you pay attention to that.
Yeah, you just have to pay attention.
So I guess if they're peeing in the house, you really kind of have to take time to figure out why.
Yes.
And then once you do, you can sort of backtrack and come up with a solution.
So there's no such thing, though, as giving your dog too much water, right? Because you're just going to give them free access to water, and they'll get it as they need it. You can give yourself too much water. If you drink water too late in the afternoon or the evening, and you drink a lot of water in the evening, you're probably going to have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom.
I see what you're saying.
Right?
Yes.
So give your dog access to water. Give them plenty of access to water. But at some point in time during the day, you should remove access to that water so that they don't have to go in the middle of the night. So if you get up and you wake up in the morning and you're surprised by puddles of pee in the hallway or poop on the carpet,
great place to start.
You might want to just start feeding and watering less in the evenings or afternoons.
And do yourself the same if you wake up all night.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of feeding, Rough Greens is the single best thing that you can add to your dog's food. It's all the live nutrition that your dog needs that they're not getting in whatever else it is that you're feeding them, whether it's kibble or wet food or some kind of a packaged food with your dog's name on it. That's still cooked food, and all the vitamins are cooked out of it. So there's no live nutrition in there. This is live nutrition. And by the way, you can get a free Jumpstart trial bag by going to ruffgreens.com. Put in promo code XM, KSky, and basically you just cover the shipping, and we'll send you a free 10-day trial bag, and you just try it before you buy it. We think your dog's going to love it.
And you can get it for cats too.
Yeah, you can get it for cats too.
So go to ruffgreens.com, ruffgreens.com, or meowgreens.com, MEOW. And when we come back, Dr. Black is going to be addressing the dangers of mercury poisoning in cats.
Yeah, we'll be back in 1 minute and 1 second.
Is good nutrition for our pets as important for them as good nutrition is for us humans? Oh, you bet it is. A free Jumpstart trial bag of either Rough Greens or Meow Greens can be at your door in just a few days. You just cover the shipping.
So before we get started, Doc, let's talk about your fun fact before we get deep dive.
Yes, so this fun fact comes to us today from Ed Ernsting of Louisville, Texas. Thank you, Ed, for this fun fact. By the way, dog racing is very popular, especially in Alaska. I was in Alaska last summer, and we did some dog sledding and that kind of thing. And it was a lot of fun, right?
Fun, yes.
But did you know that in a dachshund race, there are no losers?
Why?
They're all wieners.
Thank you,
it's
Ed.
a bad joke,
that
but we had to do
okay.
it because we just owed it to Ed.
So welcome back, everyone. We know that cats love fish. Actually, I have a dog that likes salmon. But feeding your cat a diet of fish can actually lead to mercury poisoning. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But before we dive in deep, can you let us know some of the essential steps for safely feeding our cat a fish dinner?
So, fish is not something that you should feed your cat all the time. And if you do feed them fish, and a lot of cats won't even eat it. It's really quite amazing. When we were making Meow Greens for cats, one of the things that we tested was salmon flavoring.
And
only about 50% of the cats would eat it. The other 50%
that
said...
is true. Even wild, even feral cats do not.
Yeah, some of them didn't like it at all.
Wow.
So if you're going to feed your cat fish of any kind, you want to make sure that you're not feeding it often and you're not feeding a large amount. Because as you know, there's tons of mercury in the ocean, and fish like tuna, swordfish, king mackerel, those fish can have high levels of mercury, which can lead to mercury poisoning over time. Symptoms of mercury poisoning include neurological issues, tremors, difficulty walking. And so, you want to look for those issues. And if you see them, obviously you need to get them to the vet, but you need to also detoxify them.
Wow.
And it's a long, lengthy
so
process.
So hopefully dead food does not have real fish in it. Hopefully it just has, well, that's not good either.
Well, yeah. And here's the interesting thing, though. Dogs are not carnivores. Most people think they are, but they're not. They're omnivores we are, and they need a wide variety of things. Cats, on the other hand, are carnivores, and they need a lot of meat in their diet.
So you have to pay a lot of attention then to...
So you have to pay a lot of attention.
Okay.
So
Fish.
you want to make sure that if you are going to feed them fish, that you feed them some of the smaller fish like sardines, or maybe salmon, but it's a small salmon.
Right.
And you want to make sure that it's wild caught salmon. It's not farm-raised salmon.
Oh, because of the
Farm-raised
dye
salmon are the worst because they're full of red dye number 5 and tons of mercury in that food. It's just not good at all.
You might want to do that as a human as well.
Yeah, that's right. Stop eating farm-raised salmon. Ensure that the fish is always fresh and high quality. Raw fish poses risk, including harmful bacteria, parasites, and an enzyme called thiaminase, which can deplete your cat's vitamin B levels. So you want to make sure that if you're going to feed them fish, that you cook the fish, you steam the fish. You don't want to feed them raw fish. Fish cannot replace a balanced diet with a cat. It just can't. So if you're feeding your cat just fish, that's all you feed them, your cat's not going to be around for long. While it is fish is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, it also lacks the essential nutrients like taurine, which cats need for heart and eye health. So you want to treat fish as a special snack, serving it no more than once or twice a week. It's just that's what you do.
What did you find to be the favorite flavor?
I can't tell you that. It's a trade secret.
Oh, it's a trade secret.
But I can tell you that 100% of the cats that we tested, and we tested over 200 cats, 100% of the cats loved Meow Greens and wanted more.
That's awesome.
So Kitty VitaSmart is an amazing product. Cats love it. By the way, if you want to get a free bag of it, you can try it. Go to ruffgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com or meowgreens.com. And just tell them you want a Jumpstart trial bag. You cover the shipping. We'll send you a bag. It's absolutely free to you. It'll come in a little packets like this. You'll get a week's supply. And you'll see, your cat will love it. There's 3 different ways you can feed it. It's all on the back. And you show this to your vet, and your vet will go, yes, feed that to your cat. Because it won't give your cat the mercury poisoning that other things will. Now, by the way, if you notice any symptoms that you're not sure what they are, take your cat to your vet. All right.
So I could say this in my sleep. Pet food is dead food.
That's it.
Unfortunately, we are out of time, and we need to remind you that Rough Greens and Meow Greens are not food and not medicine. They are nutrients.
Supplements, yes.
Supplements, yes.
We'll be back next week at the same time,
yes.
same station. Till then, thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year.